Okay, very good. Well, welcome to another episode of our podcaster for Energy Arbitrage AI. Today I'm joined by Thomas Childress. Thomas, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. One thing, Thomas, I was kind of looking at some numbers this morning, right, and thinking of you immediately. Gartner just released a report projecting data center power demand is going to jump 16% 2025 alone this year, right? And most of the grids aren't really ready for that, right? And so, in terms of on-site power and whatnot, and it seems the work you're doing, right, is fits right within that, right? So tell me more about that. Is that kind of what you're seeing as well from your client base?
Yes, it just seems like there's not near enough grid capacity or grid. The lines are heated up and they
Hmm.
can't get any more on there. There's a huge demand. And I mean, we all know that in the business, but how do you keep it behind the meter and get them the cost that they're looking for? Uh,
Right.
and it's not just the grid system, it's the pipeline system as well. Getting
Okay.
the molecule out of the pipeline. I mean, it's the speculators have jumped in there and picked up a lot of the gas.
Yes. Okay. So it's all the lines are encumbered is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of pressure on on these other companies, on these midstream companies to get us gas.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. So you're facing all kinds of constraints. So I guess like I said, I mean, as we dive in, just remember it's kind of super conversational. Love to start talk about kind of the transition you've made here into being a general contractor. I know you've played that role, with Hub Kellor, right? And look at the kind of kind of the chaotic state of the power infrastructure we just touched upon, right? And then maybe talk about the future behind the meter generation going, right? And if that does that sound good to you? That's kind of the pace.
Yeah, it does. That sounds fine.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, for our listeners, right? Mostly kind of in the sustainability, finance, heavy industry space. The reason why I wanted to bring you on is you have a very unique vantage point, right? Most people just see the finished data center. You're the guy actually figuring it out, right? How to get up and running. So I think the story. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not the guy that figures it out, but I've got a whole staff in the office behind me out here. They're the
Right,
real meat and potatoes of this company.
right.
I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, so to speak, but the real ability I have is I know a lot of people and I know a lot of good people. So
That helps. Having the right people helps. But I mean, your story from moving from a specialized subcontractor at IPS Global to self-performing general contractors, exactly the kind of insight our audience needs, right? It highlights why control is the most valuable asset in construction right now. So let's start with the transition. So you were and still are a partner at IPS Global, which is a massive
I,
part player, right?
I
Sorry, go ahead.
am, and I mean, I am, and IPS has been a wonderful company. I mean, just absolutely amazing group of people.
Mm,
And I've got two partners out there. They didn't want to go through the headache of growing a company to this size overnight.
mhm.
And uh, and anyway, I mean, they're great people over there. I respect everyone in that group, and they'll
Right.
subcontract to Hub Kellor in the future for sure.
Gotcha, gotcha. I guess what was the specific moment of or for maybe frustration? I don't know. I guess I can't just be the sub anymore. You wanted to kind of have control over the kind of be that general contractor and kind of veer out. What was that, you think?
Well, I knew the power cycle was coming up, and I mean, I'm old enough. I got to go through the first one, and I worked for a company that was 200 years old back then. And anyway, great company.
What was the name of the company? Was
It
just
was
curious.
Frucon out of St. Louis.
Got it. Okay,
And I
got it.
mean,
Okay,
they were a double-breasted construction company with an engineering firm. And
okay.
that just, and plus we were liquid $9 billion in 1999. I mean, it was just an amazing time to have that much money on hand. And we leveraged that out and we
Mhm.
built a lot of power plants around the United States and, in this Western hemisphere, both North and South America.
I see.
had a great run with it, and this is where I always wanted to be, was back in that, that type of a construction company that did more than just build,
Mm, got it. Got it. Okay. And and I guess you mentioned to me previously that you're commodity agnostic, right? You just want to get the power there at the site. You'll do combined cycle, gas, even coal burners, right? I assume if as long
Yeah,
as the
well,
turbine spins the
right.
turbine, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would, I mean, yeah, we're really looking at these SMRs, see what we can get done over there for those guys as well.
Okay. Okay. And I guess, kind of in a world where everyone's obsessed with green optics, right? That's a refreshing reality check, right? So I don't know if your clients are looking at renewable. Is that something they're even considering, or is it really down to the what does it cost per kilowatt hour if for them?
It come,
Yeah.
they all want green, of course,
Right.
but
Right.
this is the wind turbines. There's times when the wind doesn't blow here.
Right. Right.
This, and then the solar panels, I mean, it just takes up a lot of land to do all of
Sure.
that.
Real estate.
And
Right.
there's nothing, I mean, there's really nothing wrong with either one of those type generations, but it's when you need to flip a switch and you need power immediately, Mother Nature's kind of hard to depend on.
Right, right. Yeah, you need, reliable power. I get it. So I guess when you're talking to a data center client who just found out the local utility has a 5-year law backlog or more, right? Or what's that conversation like with them?
Oh, well, uh, what's that conversation like? They don't, I mean, they're all, there's all kinds of software out there now to find out where to put this down. I mean, the NREL is doing a great job of mapping where the power is, where there's too
Mhm.
much, where there's not. And, they go through and they look at that. And then some of our partnering companies that we've partnered with, they have algorithms set up for all of this. But most of the time, it's like you got everything you need there except for power. It comes down to a gas pipeline, it comes down to a high line, and it
Okay,
comes down to a fiber optic cable. I mean, everything's there, but it doesn't mean it's available to you. And so we go through a due diligence period with most of them, explaining to them why they either can or they can't put it there.
I see. How about water? I know water is kind of a scarcity in several parts of the country. Is that ever an issue?
It just depends on where you are. If you're in the desert Southwest, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're doing a dry cleaning business, you're going to have
Mm.
water issues.
Right,
But
right.
for the most part, this emerging technology has really changed the amount of water that they need in the closed loop systems.
Mm,
I think the days of the open top cooling towers built out of redwood and things like that, that's going
yeah.
to be a thing of the past because of the makeup water. It really needs to be a closed system.
Gotcha. And I assumed, I mean, they're already kind of realizing they got to be their own power plant, aren't they? Most of the clients you're speaking to.
I'm sitting here in Weatherford, Texas, and I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you go out west,
Uh-huh.
and there's just data centers going in everywhere out there in that West Texas area because of what's available to them out there.
I see. I see. Well, I mean, I guess, kind of what, we're seeing a trend, from my seat to, called power first development, where the site is chosen based on energy access, not fiber latency, right? Are you seeing that
Right.
shift on the ground as well?
No, not really. I mean, not
Okay.
really.
Okay.
The
Not really.
fiber, I mean, it's easier to drag a fiber through, down a highway than it is to put a pipeline underneath the highway. So they're going. What I see is they're going to where they can get the power, and then if the fiber's there, that's fine. If not, how far
Mhm.
away is it?
Okay. Okay. Now, I guess, I want to touch upon, on the money side, right? Financing side, because you're doing something unique there too, I guess. So you mentioned using annuities and structured finance to get these projects moving. I guess first question is construction finance is usually a headache. How does your annuity model change that speed that you can deploy for these clients of yours?
Well, I went out and I mean, a guy came to me. All of this. I mean, it's really just come to me, and this is one of the guys that I mean, one of the guys that works for me ran into this guy at the gym, and they started talking, and this
Wow,
guy had
random.
been, yeah, this guy had been through the last power cycle, and he says, "How you doing on finance?" And he said, "Well, we're struggling with that. Everybody says they can bring the money, and then they drop, all these,
Drop off. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they drop all these requirements for you, and if you don't have the money to do it, you can't do it. And I mean,
Right.
just the feed program on these power plants for a gigawatt, it might cost you $100 million, and not every company
Right.
has that in their bank account. And this guy
Right.
structured a thing up front to cover the soft cost and the hard cost,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a really great way of doing business. He's been doing this. He's 70 years old, and he's still in the financial market, and he knows everybody. And that's really, I guess, if it comes down to it, knowing the right people makes all the difference in the world in this business.
I believe that. I believe that. I guess, kind of right now, what is the single hardest part of your job? What would you think? I mean, that's kind of a general question, but what would you say there, Tom?
The hardest part of the job, finding gas
Yeah.
turbines, is the hardest
Yes.
part. I mean, if you order a gas turbine today, it's going to be 2032 before you get it, and you're making payments on it all along along the whole process of building the things. So
Okay.
really, it comes down to getting your hands on the plant equipment, plus financing the thing. If you buy brand new instead of
Mhm.
recertified, you're definitely going to be out there 3, 4 years making payments before you see any revenue come back to you.
I see. I see. What size turbines are you looking for typically? I mean, I'm sure
We
they vary, but yeah.
it just depends on the plant. I mean, I've got some 1.2 gigawatt plants that we're doing out west in West Texas.
Mm.
And
Okay.
then we've got
Sizable.
3 gigawatts that we're doing up in the Panhandle, and then another 6 gig. Yeah, oh yeah, they're big. They're big. And then we've also got the small 17 and a half megawatt turbines as well. For
Okay.
a lot of the guys come in and I say, we can throw down temporary power for you. We can alleviate a lot of the pressure of building you a permanent plant and throw down, temporary power. And then as the permits become available and the studies and the the revenue starts rolling in, then we can build you a permanent plant.
Got it. Got it. So the supply chain is the biggest issue. That's what you're saying. And then
It
is there any
is.
red tape? Are you running into any kind of red tape as well, in addition to
A,
the supply chain?
a few, but I mean, nothing that money can't overcome. It just, really, the red tape is wading through everybody to get the stuff shipped into the United States.
Okay. 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 And tariffs, anything like that? Any issues around tariffs? I mean, if you're getting equipment from overseas, has that come into play at all for
Yes,
your
I
operation?
wouldn't I
Okay.
wouldn't call it. I mean, it's just more money. I mean, money solves
Right.
everything there is to do with
Sure.
power. I mean, the
Right.
tariffs are going to be there, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like the tariffs will go away with the next election, but I'm not. If a Republican gets in, it'll probably stay. If it's a
Mm.
Democrat, it'll go away immediately. I mean, I just feel strongly about that.
Right. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. I guess here's a kind of a future outlook. Let's switch into that. I mean, 12 months down the road, with AI, compute demand doubling every few months, the grid isn't catching up, right? We've talked about that, right? Where do you see the biggest opportunity for Hub Keller?
For Hub Kellor, for me, with
Yeah,
my skill
for
sets,
you.
it's building powerhouses. That's it. With
That's
the
it.
AI,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, as a company with the AI, I feel this way about it, Kevin. If we
Mm.
don't
Yeah.
embrace AI,
Yeah.
we're not going to be able to compete with those that do. And I think this
Right.
is a great time for small companies to step up into the top 10 if they
Mm.
so desire to do that, because you can alleviate a lot of your overheads just by embracing AI.
Right.
And
Right.
what I mean by that is, I mean, now they've got software out there. It's a plug and play for the front end work to do. Siemens has got some software. It'll build your plan out on the process side. And it's
Hmm.
easy to take that. You don't need 2 or 3 engineers working on it. You just got a program putting it together.
Right.
And it makes it a lot easier to go get the funding up front if you have that AI. And then once you get on the job site, I mean, it's to close out your project daily, which I know a lot of people don't do that because they think it takes too much in overhead. But if you're going to finance these projects, and every project is financed some way, you're going to have to turn those reports in on a daily basis. And AI is just, I mean, you just plug in the quantities that you installed and through
Hmm.
your estimating system, the values are there, all of that. And it's easy to say, we earned this much today. We advanced the schedule this much today
Right.
with very little, very little inputs from, people really.
Right.
And
Right.
then all you got to do is know how much it costs you to install those. And that happens so quick now,
Mm.
just on the measurement of the projects.
Since you talked about mentioned it, I mean, have you seen? I mean, you said very little input from humans, let's say, for people, but have you seen? Because I've seen it in what I do, right? And we'll jump into that a little bit. But I mean, where you need to sort of mitigate what comes out, review what comes out. Kind of potentially there could be some mistakes and perhaps some details that have to be changed. Have you run into that at all? I know you're saying
Oh,
there's all kinds of
oh
off-the-shelf
yeah.
software, but yeah, okay,
Yeah. We review everything that leaves, but instead of having two or three people putting the reports together, it's just one person pushes the
one
button
person. Yeah,
and then they
right,
go
and
through it.
reviewing, right,
Yeah.
understood. Now,
I think that spot will be there forever,
right,
but
right,
you know, and
right.
I mean, and I feel this way it's coming. These people that have minimal, and I shouldn't even word it like this. Let me think about this a second.
No problem.
People that have minimal skill sets are going to be. I mean, they need to go figure out how they're going to use AI to increase their value to get through life. Is how I look at it.
Right. Yeah. It's gonna be challenging. I got three young kids. I know it's gonna be challenging. I'm concerned. Yeah, they're gonna have to really focus on how to be, how to, be involved in a new future, right? That's already kind of here, right? And it's gonna be
Yeah,
ever evolving. Yeah.
the world is changing right before our
Yeah.
eyes.
Absolutely.
I feel
I
like
agree.
my great grandmother that came from horse and buggy and watched a man walk on the moon.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is that time in my life. It's like I can't believe this is what we used to do.
Yeah. Right.
Coming from a balance sheet on paper and a pencil. I mean, we have the computers, moved us up, and now this AI is going to do the same thing.
I agree. I agree. Now, your main focus is it more retrofitting existing plants or building brand new microgrids from scratch? Bit of both.
Well,
I mean,
I'll do both. I've done a lot of
yeah.
turnaround work, stuff like that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
enjoy it. That is a really challenging field to be in to meet the
Mm,
end dates and startup dates, stuff like that. And if you're a
right.
competitive person,
Mm,
turnarounds are where it's at, and you'll make a truckload of money at each one of these turnarounds you go do. You just got to beat the schedule on that thing.
right. Now, I guess, geographical area, is it all around, Texas ERCOT, or is it beyond that? Are you looking at other areas too for your
We're
business?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at projects in Tennessee, West Virginia,
Okay.
South Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona. I'm everywhere except for Florida and California.
Right. I'm in California, so yeah. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's quite expensive to do it in California, right? Very
Right.
expensive. Yeah, right. And it takes forever to get permits and whatnot, especially brand new build. But yeah, yeah, I get it. And there's not enough power. Same issue we have here. I mean, our grid is, this already, right? But our grid is underinvested, and we can't get enough power anywhere. I mean, you ask PG&E or kind of, the powers that may be in Edison, right? I mean, there's just not enough capacity to get to the any kind of facility.
Well, they're all. I mean, we see California license plates every day here in DFW. It seems like there's more and more.
Yeah, I have a friend that just moved there about 3 or 4 months ago. So he's kind of out, I guess, east of Dallas is where he's living now. So it's really growing out there, is what he's been telling me. So,
It is.
forgive me, I don't remember exactly the name of the city, but he's just east of Dallas. city of Dallas. So anyway, it's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Here's one bit. So I guess if you could fix one bottleneck in the heavy industrial power space, what would that be? Is it just that you mentioned kind of the gas capacity bit, but then maybe is there anything else that's a
If you're
bottleneck that you notice?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're
in
not
that space.
important, if I mean the real bottleneck is labor, and I mean if you're not importing your labor and doing it correctly, you're going to be out of business anyway, or that your business is not erecting. It'll be
Right.
design and finance, which that's I mean, and that's really finance and design will go away if you can't perform.
Right. Gotcha. All right. Well, I mean, this has been quite valuable. Great discussion. I mean, it's clear, I guess, that behind the meter generation is the future, right? We see that brings up new challenges, right? Once you build these on-site power plants operate from efficiently, it's a whole different beast, right? And kind of want to dive into what I'm involved in, and so kind of a little bit about energy arbitrage. Basically, we're involved in more the predicting of costs for our clients, basically lowering operating expense. Bottom line, using AI to kind of predict energy pricing, optimize, kind of on-site assets where you're building. I mean, and then so the client isn't just generating power, but they're doing it at the lowest cost per kilowatt, right? With all kinds of knowledge that we can provide, real-time data, right? And I think it could be something that I think some of your clients could be interested in, and to hearing more about. And so, but I want to learn more about kind of based on this discussion. I've heard a lot from you, and then I think maybe a
Are
follow-up
you there,
discovery
Kevin?
call. Yeah, can
There
you
you are.
yeah, yeah, sorry
Let
about
let
that.
me let me move just for a second, and then I'll get
Yeah, no problem.
back.
No problem.
I need to get in here closer to our Wi-Fi.
No problem. No problem. Take your time.
There all the bars came in.
Yeah, okay, very good. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's a lot better now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I was saying was, where did I cut off so I can make sure you capture what I
You were
was
going to
saying?
tell me what you did.
Yeah, right. Okay. So basically, what energy arbitrage, what we do is essentially we use AI to predict energy pricing, optimize those kind of on-site assets where you're building. And so the client is not just generating power, but they're doing it at the lowest possible cost per kilowatt. I have a demo that I built that I can kind of walk you through separately on maybe a discovery call, and we can talk about that, maybe scheduling something for your schedule. So I think it's basically a lot of what happens is that essentially our tech, it sits on top of the infrastructure you're building, right? So you don't have to add any capex. Really, it's just you build the AI agentic platform and you do all the analysis, almost like a plug and play, but it's customized to what are your clients looking for, right? So basically, it could be a massive value add for a data center client because really, you basically they're generating power again at the most efficient possible way, and if they want to incorporate renewable energy, you can help them there as well. Is that kind of a conversation worth exploring between us? Yeah. And in addition, let me add something else. I'm going to add something else. I know I have some colleagues kind of in the gas turbine space as well. They are actually marketing some large 500 megawatt, turbines now. There's some, and they've been in this space for a while. I think they have some kind of relationships with GE Vernova, and GE Vernova has had some turbines that they've refurbished, right? And so
Right.
now there's some activity around that. So anyway, there could be some synergy there as well. So we could touch that separately, but I wanted to share those with you today on the call because what you're doing, it's intriguing, and what I've been involved in is sort of there's some synergies there, right? So I think it's worth exploring. Is what I will tell you.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
but
what is the name?
yeah,
What is the name of your company, Kevin?
energy arbitrage AI, and
Energy arbitrage. Okay.
arbitrage, and you can search me out. I'll send you kind of the details after the call. But I mean, I think this is really, really, really informative. I mean, it's great that I heard a lot about kind of what you're doing and kind of building out that because you're hearing it on the news, right? But you're seeing someone that's in that space trying to build out all that that power for all these data centers and clients that are needing that power but can't get it, right? And I think we're going to run more and more into that because there's no way we're going to build enough power capacity, I feel like in the next 10 to 15 years to meet the demand. So it's going to be challenging. We got to build a lot more, nuclear power plants or small footprint,
Right.
just to get there. So anyway.
Well, they can put 5, 10 megawatts in a sea container now, so the footprint's got a lot smaller on the nuclear reactors.
Right. Perfect. Well, thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. I think this is again very eye-popping for some of my listeners, and I think I want to thank you for your time today, Thomas.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
I appreciate it.